Hey guys, Marsengan here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to do the new low-class warriors mission that has been added to the legendary Goku event. In fact, it's been added to all of the legendary events, the OG Goku one, the GT Goku one, and the Vegeta one, to beat it with a team of low-class warriors. So I thought we would start off with the OG Goku one, because obviously it is the easiest and the oldest one. So I thought a fun way to do that would be to do it with a full free-to-play team. So I am using a Tech Bardock friend. Obviously you can see him here, he's on the first rotation. But everybody else on the team is a free-to-play unit. So essentially we are using the full free-to-play Team Bardock team with the STR Bardock as the leader with his 77% for low-class warriors leader skill. And then, yeah, the rest of the team is the free-to-play Team Bardock, rounded out with this guy instead of the LR Team Bardock, because not only is he a free-to-play unit, it's pretty good, he gives support, and he counts as a Goku on the team, which means that the friend Bardock actually does get his full passive. So, not a lot of orbs for STR Bardock to pick up here, unfortunately. Now, I farmed up some of the extra orbs, like the special EX skill orbs from the revamped Bardock Squad event, but to be fair, I should have probably remembered to do that before recording this, but I only gave them to Bardock and then Farsha and, actually I gave them to everyone except Borgos, now that I think about it, because Shugesh, Tora and Farsha are the ones that I would potentially use on a team, right? And then Bardock is Bardock, right? gotta show love to Bardock, so Shugesh Borgos even is kind of the only one that I probably would end up not using again at any point, so I didn't bother to give him any of the new skill orbs, which I probably should have done in retrospect before jumping in to do this run, but I can't imagine it is going to be super difficult. Here we are, we're already at the Super Saiyan 2 phase. Oh, that came up so late, I was about to say, and then there's Farsha not dodging the super attack, but we take those. But yeah, this shouldn't be too difficult, I would imagine, for most people, right? Because I'm using a friend Tech Bardock. You can find them on the friends list. And then we're just using a full free-to-play team. Like I say, our leader only has a 77% leader skill. So you can see how the event has sort of aged. I mean, we are using a friend 200% lead. Everybody on the team gets the 200% leader skill from Tech Bardock. So there is that. But other than that, we are looking pretty good. It's unfortunate that Bardock is a nuking style unit, but we're not really getting a lot of orbs like chaining together. We can get 5, I suppose that's not too bad. And then we'll grab those for you. Not had a chance to do much stacking with Tora, and he is going to eat a super here. But, I mean, I made Tora full additional and then the rest dodge, because he is a stacking support unit. So I feel like that's the most appropriate build. Now, obviously, if you want to get this mission done and dusted out of the way as quickly as possible, I know a lot of people didn't summon for Tech Bardock, so I might do the other missions without using him, but not just, you know, not using a full free-to-play team. Because obviously if you have the AGL Dokkan Fest Bardock, then he has a 170 lead. I think part of it's 130, but he has a proper leader skill for low-class warriors. So obviously if I just replaced STR Bardock on this run with AGL Bardock, then obviously he would be much better and the run would go much, much faster. So for anyone out there watching this who obviously wants to do the run themselves to complete the mission, you get 5 stones and some tickets for the Goku Units Only banner. Yeah, should be pretty straightforward with any extra summonable units, but this was just kind of to show that it can be done with a full free-to-play team, because low-class warriors has units on it, you know, even like AGL Turles, for example. AGL Turles with his Easy A supports all allies, it's not just extreme, and he gives, if it's against a super class enemy, he's giving attack as well as defense to all enemies, to all allies. So he definitely can be very useful. Obviously we already mentioned the AGL Bardock. There's the summonable physical Farsha, who is actually quite good, especially on this team build. You let her get the hits in early on to build up her passive, and then she's able to put out some pretty solid numbers. I mean, you can see even with our 177% lead and 200%, like Lord Shugesh here, not really taking much damage from any of these attacks. And obviously we're not putting out crazy numbers. Like STR Bardock actually can be pretty good, like for a free-to-play unit, obviously. And seeing him here still putting out like, you know, 3.5 mil on a team with one of the leaders only being 77% and only picking up like 5 orbs when he is a nuking style unit, I think is pretty decent. So this should be pretty straightforward, I would think, for most people, especially because, like I say, this whole team is free to play, right? So anyone watching this video can fully recreate this team, and then based on what you have in your box, you can obviously make a slightly better version of the team. Now, in terms of the other low-class warrior units, I think you've got, like, there's obviously physical Raditz. As much of a meme as he is better than some of the free-to-play Team Bardock members, at least. There's, like, the Great Ape Raditz with his Easy A, who's not bad. There's the Great Ape Kid Goku, who's pretty decent as well. Those 3 Great Apes that got the Easy A's, there's the AGL Vegeta as well. They are actually pretty decent. The only problem, of course, with the Vegeta is that he is not a low-class warrior. He is one of the Saiyan elites, so he cannot be used on this team build. But other than that, pretty good. I want to try and avoid the Dokkan attack here, I think, because if I can get the Dokkan attack on, like, basically like 3 turns from now with Tech Bardock. I don't want to get it on the next turn, but that means if we can take out this Super Saiyan Blue phase within the next 2 turns, then that will give me, we'll be going into the STR UI phase and being able to get the Dokkan attack with Tech Bardock, and then we can blitz through that stage as quickly as possible. I mean, you can kind of see, right, with the progression that we've been making so far, definitely not struggling here at all, considering that we are using a full free-to-play team. Now, I will mix it up a little bit for the videos for the other missions, for the Vegeta event and the GT Goku event, but, I mean, as long as you get good RNG, you can potentially do both of those with this team. I guess the Vegeta event is going to be the one that would be a little bit more tricky, but you definitely could get through, because obviously some of these units, especially like Farsha, for example, at her best when she's getting her dodges, which are only disabled in the last phase of all of these legendary battle events. So and of course, again, it comes down to what I said before, with this is if you're using the full free-to-play team. So anybody out there who has AGL Bardock, you should obviously be running him as the leader instead, letting him stack for as long as possible, and then transform him into Super Saiyan, like later on into the event when he has a ton of defense, and then obviously not just him putting in the work, but everybody else on the team is going to look better because they're getting an almost extra 100% in stats from his leader skill. And of course, if he did pull Tech Bardock, then obviously that's the best way to go for these missions, because he's going to be giving everyone on the team the full 200% leader skill. Because I'm trying to think off the top of my head, I don't think there are any units in low-class warriors who are not on Bardock's leader skill. I would actually have to double check, but I'm fairly sure that there aren't any. So I'm going to put Bardock in slot 1 just because of all the orbs that are here. Yeah, that does put him up to a fairly decent. He does greatly raise attack and defense for the turn on his super attack, so he is better post-super, but we got 10 orbs of him, so it'll be interesting to see what he does with the Dokkan attack here. I literally said a minute ago about not getting any more same type orbs, and then I saw that big cluster of orbs for STR Bardock, and I couldn't help myself. So what is he looking like here? 4 million attack with the support from Tora. Obviously nothing crazy, but considering the team build that we're on and the leader skills that he's under, it's not the worst. And obviously this event, pretty outdated at this point. How much damage does he actually do? This will give us a good indication. Yeah, he did 3 of his health bars with that Dokkan attack for a 4 million attack stat. So yeah, I think this just kind of goes to show if you're using AGL Bardock instead, or Tech Bardock, or... Is there someone else that would give a better leader skill? Not in terms of... I know there isn't, or at least I don't think there is, in terms of free-to-play. But obviously there are potentially other units as well. I'd have to double-check. I think one of the... Well, Physical Raditz obviously has a Pure Saiyan's leader skill. So if you have Physical Raditz, then he would be a good stand-in leader as well. As much as I've already said, as much as he is kind of a meme unit... it's not like he's going to struggle in an old event like this, right? So he's going to be perfectly fine. So we get our 3 Rainbow Orbs for Bardock. Obviously, the Scouter effect wore off long ago. These legendary events certainly not the most optimal events for using Tech Bardock's abilities. But you know, I don't feel like that's going to be a huge issue, right? The only place where I guess that could be a problem is in the GT Goku event. By the time you get to the Int Super Saiyan 4 Goku phase, Bardock might take a bit of damage from a super. But if you're running double Tech Bardocks, by the time you get to the Int Super Saiyan 4 Goku, they're both going to be fully built up with their passive. So after a super attack, I don't think they're going to take that much damage from him, even with the type disadvantage. So honestly, it shouldn't be that difficult. So I guess we should actually go ahead and use the active skill for Goku, since we have it and I haven't used it. Get a nice crit. UI Goku does have a pretty decent amount of HP, but there's too many... There we go. I wasn't sure if that was going to quite drop down the way I wanted it to, but with all the orbs all over the place and not a great connection, I already wanted to try and get at least a few orbs for STR Bardock here. So now, I guess actually we were quite lucky during the STR phase. I actually don't think I noticed him dodge a single attack, but this is always... I remember when the Legendary Goku event first came out, and you could get some really frustrating runs sometimes where you were going to clutch it out with like a really wonky team, and then Goku would just dodge multiple attacks in a row and obviously dish out a bunch of damage to you. It was interesting when this event first came out, right? These long form events. And then I think the problem is with the way the meta has evolved to where we are now, so many units stack defense that I feel like even if they did bring out a new event that was like an extreme version of the legendary events, I actually don't know how they would make it difficult enough without making it just super unfairly hard right from the start, because so many good units infinitely stack defense now that you could easily make a team. Like, imagine bringing a team, let's use a classic example from the stacking days, AGL LR Gohan. Now that he has his Easy A, imagine making a Kamehameha team with him, with his 180% leader skill, and then just bringing a full team of units that can stack defense. So unless the event is doing ridiculous damage on turn 1, or maybe starts to get quite damaging by the time you get to, like, you know, the second or third phase of whatever the event is, you're going to get units that by the time you're, like, you know, 7 or 8 turns in, are going to be at like 1,000,000 defense. And then it doesn't matter how hard the final phase boss is, unless the final phase boss is like Cell Max. But then even then, units with over 1,000,000 defense are not really going to struggle against him anyway. So as much as I found the long form events fun, and it would be kind of cool for them to make a bit of a comeback, I genuinely don't know how they could do that without making it like almost redundant with the infinite stacking units. And like, it's not like they can disable... The only thing I could think of, I guess, is that you could have it so that the boss doesn't necessarily have to do a lot of damage with their super attack, but their super attack could like greatly lower defense, and then they could super attack like twice per turn or something. So they're not actually doing a huge amount of damage to you, but they keep chipping off those stacks of your unit's defense, and then once you get past, like, you know, the halfway mark or something, that's when the boss starts to actually hit quite hard. And they've spent the previous phases cutting away at all the defense that your units have stacked. Otherwise, I don't see how it would really be that difficult. But there you go. That is the OG Legendary Goku event, beaten with a full free-to-play low-class Warriors team in order to get the mission done. Like I said, I wanted to do this for at least one of the runs. And then for the next one, I'll probably do a slightly different version of the team with summonable units, but still without Tech Bardock. And then for the last one, I might just go all out and make the best low-class Warriors team that I can make. and then it kind of gives you like the 3 different levels of the team. I think that'd be quite cool. So let me know what you guys think down below, but there you go. That is the low class warrior mission of the legendary Goku event, beaten with a full free-to-play team. Let me know what you used. Have you done all 3 of them? Let me know your ideas. What would you like to see from the team builds for the other 2 videos? Let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.